All right, let's talk about Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. You think your love life is complicated? Well, this story is basically about what happens when three totally different worlds collide on one single crazy night. You've got forbidden love, a full-on supernatural custody battle, and an amateur actor who is just way too into his craft, and it all mashes together into one of the wildest comedies ever. Really, the whole play boils down to this one question. What happens when you take a love life that's already a complete mess and, just for fun, you throw in a mischievous fairy with a superpowered love potion? The answer is pure, unadulterated, hilarious chaos. So our story starts in Athens, a city that is very big on rules and order. The ruler, Duke Theseus, is busy planning his own wedding, but a nasty piece of local law is about to create a literal life-or-death situation for four young lovers. The whole thing just explodes into view when this guy Egeus storms into the Duke's court. He's furious with his daughter Hermia, and he's not asking, he's demanding the Duke enforce this old, brutal law. The ultimatum is shockingly simple. Hermia either marries the guy her dad picked, or she will be executed. So let's break down this disaster in the making, and this is before any magic gets involved. Hermia loves Lysander. Lysander loves Hermia. Easy, right? Nope. Her dad insists she marry Demetrius, and here's the kicker. Hermia's best friend, Helena, is hopelessly in love with that same Demetrius who, by the way, wants nothing to do with her. It is a perfect recipe for heartbreak. So faced with this insane choice, marry someone you don't love or die, Hermia is, you can imagine, completely falling apart. And it's right here that Lysander drops one of the most famous lines in all of literature, which pretty much sums up everything. He's basically telling her, look, love has never been easy for anyone, ever. This is our test. So they come up with a plan. Run away. Elope. They'll meet in the woods just outside the city, where Athenian law can't touch them. But then they make a fatal mistake. They tell Helena. And poor, desperate Helena, thinking maybe this will make Demetrius finally notice her, goes and tells him the whole plan. And with that one decision, all four of them are now heading straight in to those enchanted woods. Okay, so let's shift over to the woods, because our four lovers are not alone, not even close. They have absolutely no idea, but they are about to stumble right into the middle of a massive supernatural throwdown between the king and queen of the fairies. So what are the fairy royals, Oberon and Titania, fighting about? They're in a bitter custody dispute over a young boy. Oberon wants him, Titania refuses. But this is way more than a family argument. Their fight is so powerful, it's actually breaking the natural world. The seasons are all mixed up, crops are failing, rivers are flooding. It's a total mess. To get his revenge, Oberon decides to fight dirty. Magically dirty. He calls his right-hand man, the mischievous sprite Puck, and tells him to go find this special flower. It's got this whole backstory about being hit by one of Cupid's arrows. The point is, the juice from this flower is basically a love potion on steroids. Oberon's got a two-part plan. First, he's going to totally humiliate Titania. He'll put the potion on her eyes while she's sleeping so she'll fall head over heels for the first disgusting creature she sees. Second, he actually overheard Demetrius being horrible to Helena in the woods, so he decides he'll do a good deed. He tells Puck, find that Athenian guy and put the potion on his eyes so he'll fall for Helena. What could possibly go wrong? Well, before we even see that plan go completely sideways, the forest gets even more crowded. A third and final group of mortals wanders in, and boy, are they out of their league. Say hello to the Mechanicals. Think of them as a very enthusiastic local theater troupe. They're rehearsing a play they really hope they can perform at the Duke's wedding. Their leading man is a weaver named Nick Bottom, a guy with an ego so big, he's convinced he should play the hero, the heroine, and the lion. He's a real piece of work. And where are they rehearsing? You guessed it. In the very same part of the woods, right near where the fairy queen is taking a nap. Of course, Puck stumbles across them, and for a born prankster like him, this is like Christmas morning. So the moment Bottom steps off stage, Puck makes his move. He uses his magic to turn Bottom's head into the head of a donkey. When Bottom walks back into the scene, his friends absolutely freak out. They scream, they run, yelling that he's been translated, which is a very dramatic way of saying, you've been turned into a monster. Now, Bottom has no clue what's just happened to his head. He figures his friends are just messing with him, trying to scare him. So, to show how brave he is, he starts singing at the top of his lungs. And his singing wakes up Queen Titania. With that love potion on her eyes, the very first thing she sees is this guy with a donkey head, and she is instantly, profoundly in love. So, part one of Oberon's plan kinda worked, maybe a little too well. But what about part two with the Athenian lovers? Well, this is where the wheels completely fall off. Puck makes a huge mistake. He's looking for an Athenian man, and he finds Lysander sleeping on the ground near Hermia. Because they're sleeping a little bit apart, Puck just assumes, this must be the jerk who won't sleep near the lady. So he puts the love potion on Lysander's eyes. Wrong guy. And the result is immediate, just shocking whiplash. Just a few hours after promising to love Hermia forever, Lysander gets woken up by Helena. The second he sees her, the potion hits. He's instantly declaring his love for Helena, and not just that, he says the very idea of Hermia now disgusts him. He completely renounces his love for her and runs after a very, very confused Helena. When Oberon finds out what Puck did, he's furious and tells him to fix it. So they find the right guy, Demetrius, and put the potion on his eyes too, making sure Helena is the first person he sees. But this fix just creates a bigger disaster. Now both Lysander and Demetrius are madly in love with Helena. So now the situation is complete chaos. Hermia started the night with 2 men pursuing her, and now she has 0. Helena started with no one, and now she has both guys fighting over her. But here's the truly sad part for her. She doesn't believe any of it. She's convinced that all 3 of them have ganged up on her to play a horrible, cruel joke. This whole thing just erupts into one of the biggest, messiest fights you've ever seen. The men are ready to kill each other for Helena's love. Helena is screaming at her best friend Hermia, accusing her of betrayal. Hermia is just stunned, watching the man she loves treat her like garbage. It all falls apart so badly, they end up making fun of each other's height. It is a complete and total meltdown. And who is watching all this unfold? Puck, of course. The guy who caused the whole disaster. And as he watches them tear each other apart, he delivers the play's most iconic line. He isn't sorry at all. He thinks this is the best show he's ever seen. He's basically eating popcorn and enjoying the drama. I mean, just think about it. Over just a few hours in the dark, one little drop of magic is all it takes to shatter promises, reverse loyalties, and turn lifelong friendships into bitter rivalries. The play brilliantly shows us just how irrational, how fragile, and frankly, how ridiculous the whole idea of love can be. And that's what we're left with at the end. When the morning comes and the lovers wake up thinking it was all just a bizarre dream, we're the ones left with the question. Is love something rational, a choice you make? Or is it really just like that potion, an accident of who you happen to see at the right moment, a kind of madness you can't explain and you certainly can't control?